Ladies and gents, welcome to All the Pies. My name's Si, that is Kev, and this is the preview of last night's trip to West Ham to the London Stadium, where Newcastle thrashed West Ham 5-1.
God, he scored so many goals.
All right.
All right, aye. I would have thought it would be more of a review than a preview, but
Did
I
I
mean
say
we can preview it again if you want. I'm
Yeah.
going to hazard a guess that we'll win 5-1.
Right. Well, I'll take them odds. Good. Yeah. This is the review, guys. Sorry about that. Having some technical issues with Kevin's computer, so he's on his daft little phone, so it's a little bit echoey. So we'll try and keep it not as long because tomorrow, technically, we should probably have done it today, the Brentford preview, but hectic life schedules. But tomorrow, I think we're going to do our first live for the Brentford one, just to test out the lives, give it a little whack. But Kev, shall we get straight in? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, not yet. I know what I need to be ready.
Okay, let's go.
Now are you ready, son?
I'm ready now. Aye, thank you.
Right, so we'll start off immediately with when the team sheet was released. There was no Isak on the starting lineup, replaced with Wilson and Willock, as we thought might have had either a knock or just been absolutely knackered from working his little socks off. Joe Linton came in and started in place. They were the only two changes to the start 11. What were your initial thoughts on that?
I was surprised.
Too.
If I'm being honest, I wasn't sure whether that was the correct decision or not. But how dare I question Eddie Howe?
How dare we question that man? I was exactly the same. I was like, oh, why not Alexander Isak? I was like, how we? But obviously, everyone knew Wilson's form against West Ham, but still, well, people were like, oh, but never in doubt, never in question. Eddie Howe's tactics is it. So we'll move straight in to the kickoff, which didn't look convincing, shall we say, the first immediate seconds after kickoff, because with 30 seconds in, Bowen got past Burn, a storyline, a story arc that seemed to continue for a lot of that first half, if not a lot of the game. Got past Burn, Bowen crossed it in, and then it almost found over the back of the net by Bruno. He was so close to finding our own net. It hit the post, rebounded, and then Rice absolutely skied it.
Yeah, and they did start a better team. They came out the traps the quicker, and Bruno hit against his own post. Didn't look arse at all, did he? He was like, I knew where it was going, man. I meant that.
Pinpoint. He wanted to hit that post. Pinpoint. Like you say, it did kind of that continued because then a few minutes later, another chance where Bowen got free of Burn again and put a shot that went wide. Definitely say I was nervous at that point, thinking, "Oh no, is this where we capitulate? Has Eddie maybe got the tactics wrong?" But obviously, like we say, we're fools for trying to step into the mind of a genius, because with just 6 minutes played, there was a needless corner given away. I can't remember the name of the West Ham defender, but he must have thought there was someone behind him, so he nodded it out for a needless corner, in which Trippier whipped it in, went all the way to Maxi on the right. Then Maxi floated a lovely one over, and it was just a glancing header by Callum Wilson to get 1-0 after 6 minutes, and that felt lovely.
It did feel lovely, and it was like Christmas Day. The first of many gifts that were given to it on that evening was Kurt Zouma decided somebody with the best goal scoring record against West Ham didn't need to be marked. He thought, Kurt Zouma was like, I'll just let him have a little bit of space in there. Big mistake to make because
Well, if you
Callum
look at it,
Wilson.
Wilson didn't even look as if he had that much space when you watched the replay, but he just managed to skimp my Scarberry's way in.
Yeah, I think he was. I think Zuma was his man. Let go, and in a similar way to the goal against Manchester United the other day, found himself in space, and especially against West Ham, he was going to score, followed by a little bit of the old
Macarena,
the old Macarena. Yeah, don't know what.
which the West Ham fans absolutely adored that. I would say on their faces there. They were all in extreme enjoyment of that. Then it continued to be all Newcastle for the next following 20 minutes, because on 30 minutes in, an excellent long ball by Shaw. The pundits were saying afterwards it probably wasn't intended. Of course it was fucking intended. It's Fabian Shaw. Of course he intended it. He played a pinpoint, the timing on that pass, because as we know, Joe Linton ran through and still had to round Fabianski to put it away, but it looked offside because of how the perfection of timing. Like, you can't get a more perfect timed pass than that. The way he beat the offside, because he celebrated Joe Linton, but he didn't think it was in. He thought he was offside as well. Then we go to VAR, and then as soon as them lines come out, well, that's it. He's on.
I didn't need the lines. Once I saw the replay. The first I thought was offside. I thought he was offside because he was just so far through. Jamie Redknapp on Sky said that Fabian Shaw's ball through was a shank. He shanked it.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I beg your pardon. I mean, I know you did so many great balls in your long and illustrious career, but that was not a shank. That was a nice ball through the middle. But yeah,
has he not been watching Fabian Shaw this year? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what he's been watching this year. He's been watching Neville and Carragher getting his job. That's what he's been watching. But yeah, it was a lovely ball through the middle. He bent his run, didn't he? Bent it. That's why he was on side. I think it was Soufal that was playing him on the other side. But yeah, really calm and composed to take it around the keeper and knock it in. 2-0.
2-0, happy days. But then, just before the half-hour mark, you could see West Ham were growing in confidence. Bowen, as we mentioned, had Burn on toast. Then we had a Paqueta free kick, which was saved by Pope. But then moments later, we should have had another off Wilson, but Fabianski, managed to get that. And the rest of that second half pretty much continued in that vein, with West Ham really growing in confidence. And you could feel, I think everyone could feel something was coming. I've watched loads of the vlogs of the fans who are in the weir section saying at the time, something's coming here. I can feel that something's coming. So then on the 40th minute, again, Jared Bowen corner. In my opinion, Nick Pope could have done a lot better at saving that, but he didn't. Then Botman let his man go, which of course was the animal abuser, cat kicking cunt Kurt Zuma, who must have thought that ball coming through was a little friendly feline, because he headbutted her with such ferocity, like he hated that poor creature, and it went in the back of the net, and that was 2-1.
Yeah, what a catastrophe. I'm sure it was a wonderful feeling for him. His head certainly was a thunderbolt. I said it. Thank you. I'd pre-thought about them. Look, from when our second goal went in, and I think I said this to you last night on the call. That wasn't West Ham's worst performance. They looked really into the game, especially the first half, building up to that goal. And that goal was coming. They'd had some nice spells of possession. They were passing it around. I think Newcastle allowed them into the game. There was a lot of sloppy passes coming from both the defence and the midfield, and we did lose our way for a bit. And
did.
yeah, they probably deserved that goal at a minimum before half time. And
Yeah.
at no stage, even when we were 2-0 up, at no stage did I feel really comfortable in that first half. And I was happy to hear the half time whistle, to be honest.
I felt comfortable until it went 2-1.
See, I
And
didn't.
we spoke at half time. We're both a bit nervy about how it's going to play out during half time. So then second half kicks off, thinking, right, which kind of Newcastle's going to come out now. What's Moyes going to have said to the Hammers to continue that uptick in form that they had during the first half. Shouldn't have been worried, Kev, because in the very first minute of the second half, Fabianski played out the ball from the back to I've got it written down. Aguerd, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know he had a stinker all game, as did the majority of the West Ham defense. Then super Murphy picked his pocket. He could have smashed it himself, but he didn't panic. He wasn't selfish. He squared it across for Callum Wilson, who coolly and calmly, and not the first cool and calm attacker on that night, which we'll get to later on, put it away, and that was 3-1. And for me, then the game was out of sight.
Yeah, I mean, the gifts continued, didn't it? I mean, that was, joined the biggest present that we got from them. I mean, people are going on about Moyes needs to be sacked and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe he is out of his depth a little bit at the moment, but that's nothing to do with the manager. That's just sheer bad decision making, poor touches. And yeah, good on Murphy, because, like you rightfully says, he could have took that on himself. Sees Callum Wilson and Oceans, slides it along. It was what I like to call a FIFA asshole goal. You know, when you're playing FIFA and you clean through and you can see the man across and you're just going to press that X button, tap it in. It was one of them. It was the correct thing to do. And no Macarena this time. I thought he might have went on for had a go Saturday night possibly, but no.
Yeah, no. So that was 2 for Wilson. Wilson on scored a brace on a hat trick. And I want to mention this. 9 minutes later, this didn't result in a goal, but this was like the play of Newcastle's season for me. I don't know if you remember this. Of course you will. It was when Longstaff played the long diagonal ball to Maxi. Maxi, wicked control, gives it straight to Joe Linton. Joe Linton, lovely cheeky back heel, and then Murphy is on. And I thought this is going to be fucking one of the goals of the season, but unfortunately, Fabianski managed to palm it away. But that was absolutely gorgeous football to watch. Like really, really lovely play to watch.
It deserved a goal. The move deserved a goal. On a night where there weren't the most attractive goals to watch, especially from a West Ham defensive point of view, that would have broken that trend, and that would have been a superb footballing goal. Should Murphy have done a bit better with the finish? Probably, but
maybe
you can't be too harsh. It was a good move. Some of them go in, some of them don't. I think maybe if he tried maybe one of the bottom corners, he might have had a bit more success. But nonetheless, a lush little move.
It was. And then from that point on, it was all Newcastle United. The chances kept coming forward. On the 63rd minute, Eddie Howe made another master tactician stroke. He took off Gordon, Isak, and Willock. He brought on Gordon, Isak, and Willock for Murphy, Maxi, and Wilson. So Wilson, unfortunately, didn't get his hat trick. But minutes later.
Just before we move on to the next part, I did want to talk about the substitutions because, well, first of all, I was talking about Moyes and how not everything's his fault. Those substitutions were his fault. Him taking off Antonio was a mistake because he was causing us some trouble. I feel like that the players that really caused us a bit of trouble last night were Bowen.
Bowen, definitely.
I thought Rice was all right. I thought he was decent in the middle. I thought Paqueta was decent. He seemed to have like a little bit of skill in a few passes that the others didn't. But Antonio was causing me troubles. He was causing me troubles, and rather than taking him off, I think he needed somebody to support him, somebody alongside him. And yeah, that was a mistake, because once they made that quadruple substitution, and Eddie Howe was just bringing on better quality at exactly the same time, which was a master stroke, by the way. They never got back into it after that. It was
their defense looked horrible all game. Like you see on paper, from the midfield and the attackers, they've got a decent team on paper. They've got some players that I would definitely take Wright, definitely take Bowen, probably still take Paqueta. Do you know what I mean? So they shouldn't be where they are. And yeah, I probably don't think I think if you get rid of Moyes, who are you going to bring in really at this stage of the season? So it's just that defense is proper shite, making some absolute clanger after clanger. And that, like those clangers, like see what I've done there, those clangers continue to happen. As on the 78th minute, I remember looking at Sky and the stadium was starting empty. The 3-1 down, they knew they weren't getting back into it. So the West Ham fans started to fuck off. Probably a really good job for them. It's on the 81st minute, a long ball from Bruno, another tremendous ball from Bruno, who had a blinder. Loads of our team had blinders last night. But Bruno caught me eye with some of the balls he was playing. He's just a magician. I can never say that word. But he played a long ball, and Fabianski comes pelting out. Isak coming bounding towards him. Fabianski manages to get like the side of his knee on it. And then in what is the coolest move I think I've seen from a Newcastle player in a long time. Isak just calmly gets it on his chest, side foot chips it over the remaining two West Ham defenders, and that picture, I will have used as a thumbnail. That picture of Isak and Fabianski both standing with their arms just look like that is one of the all-time great football images for me. I fucking love it. It seemed to happen so slow that all had time to watch it. It was inevitable. It was going in. Cool, calm, casual, measured by Alexander Isak. I can't think of any more superlatives to describe that man. What were your views on that goal, Kevin?
Well, yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about what you said prior to that. 77 minutes for the ground to be not just one or two leaving, like there was droves of people leaving.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a bit too early at 3-1. I mean, they weren't going to get back into it. We know that. But as a supporter, as a Newcastle United fan, it's 3-1, it's 77 minutes, I'm not leaving. And that is the final nail in any confidence that team has. Because if you're on the pitch and you see them streaming out, you think, well, even the fans have given up hope. They've given up hope. And it showed literally 2 minutes later. The ironic thing is, if Fabianski had just stayed in the box, the ball was overhit, was probably just picked it up like that. So yeah, but everything he said was correct about Isak. Lovely little chest. Didn't even hit as hard. Just there was no thought process.
There was two West Ham players already there. Fabianski showed no faith in his defence whatsoever there. No faith. I know that you're right there. He'd give them no reason, although he made some horrible decisions last night, playing balls out from the back when you know your defence isn't a type of defence that is like, really good on their feet, really fast-paced, zipping it about. Strong defence like Newcastle have got, best in the league, as everyone knows. Like playing it out from the back when you're in that perilous position, it seems a fucking just a redundant thing to do.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, but they were their own worst enemies, and they looked like a team under pressure, and they were possibly inside of their own heads yesterday. But what was fantastic is now in back-to-back games.
I haven't finished the match review yet.
Oh no! This is on this topic.
All right.
We're strikers have came off the bench and scored. There's serious competition up there now.
We'll talk about that at the end. I want to mention again the bench on the strength on the bench. But a point I did note in my head, I was going to tweet it. I thought, it's a bit cheesy to tweet this. And but last night, right, 3 number 9s scored So we had a former number 9 in Joe Linton with 2. We have our current number 9 with Wilson with 2. And we have probably our future number 9 in Isak with 1. So
we're looking healthy in front of goal again, which is great.
So let's just finish off. Obviously, the game would being put to bed a long time before that, and then on the final minute of normal time, 90th minute, if you look around, their stadium was at least 70% empty of the home support at this point. At least 70% empty. When yet another great ball from Bruno. Sees it out to Joe Linton on the left, who still has a lot to do, mind. He still has men on him. But Joe Linton, who a chance like this a few years ago for Joe Linton, he would have fluked, he would have stopped, he would have passed it back, or he would have like tried to punt it, but he coolly took it round and then slotted it past Fabianski to make it Newcastle 5, West Ham 1.
And it was the cherry on the top of what was an awful night for West Ham, but an absolutely fantastic one for Newcastle United. Well taken goal, showed good strength. He just had a feeling, and he got a bit of a knock on his eye, didn't he, afterwards? So
he did. I tried to watch whether someone had got a boot on him as they were going down. I didn't know whether it was fucking Zuma again, thinking he'd saw Moggy on the pitch and was having a fucking stamp on that horrible thing. You know what I mean? I can't stand Zuma. I don't know what it was, but he got up because he's a proper hard nut. You know what I mean? He's not soft, Joe Linton. He obviously got to dig somewhere, but then he got up, brushed himself off, and he just raised his arms aloft, and it was just like
got on with it.
Yeah. You are a true number 7 for us. You're the biggest turnaround in a footballer that I've witnessed in my lifetime.
It's remarkable, and he looks like he's going to get better. That's the crazy thing. Like he looks as though he's still kind of this new role. He's still kind of getting better and better by the games you see, and where he could finish or end up is an exciting prospect. If
him and Bruno aren't part of the same team in the next tournament for Brazil, then they're making serious errors there.
The sad thing is, I don't think there will be.
Yeah, probably will be. Probably won't be.
And I mean, moving on a little bit before you I know you want to talk about the bench. While it's in my mind, I do want to mention that it became obvious pretty much straight away that all the conversation in the media and the pundits, everywhere you look, was going to be about David Moyes and how poor West Ham was. And I say this all the time: good. I don't want people noticing how good we are. I want it like it's almost like we are still kind of we're sitting in third place on merit. But it is almost sort of going along without like a massive light being shone on it. There's after every game, it happened to the Man U game, how terrible Man U were. After the West Ham game, how terrible West Ham were. I don't want people noticing how good we are. So that when we do go to these grounds, there's a little bit of sort of we're going to get something from this, and it leaves them more open at the back for us to try and utilise that. And sometimes you can hit them and they go, bloody hell, what happened there, like we did last night with those 2 quick goals, and then before you know it, the match is gone. So as long as we keep winning teams and they talk about how terrible the other team was, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, we didn't even go to third gear. Newcastle, definitely not one of our best team performances, but we were either managed to convert everything, or we were probably gifted 1 or 2 by West Ham, but not all 5, as Moyes was saying. No, because a lot of these decisions still take a lot of them still took a really good finish to put them away. Like it wasn't just like they were gifted. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. But I generally do think Newcastle had a couple of more gears to go if needed, and that's a fucking phenomenal thing to have as a feeling as a Newcastle fan. But look at the bench. Look what who we brought on last night. I'll put it down again. Where is it? Yeah, we brought on Gordon, Isak, and Willock. Like, we were brought on brought on one £45 million signing, one £60-odd million signing, and what was Joe Willock, 25,
25, I think.
One of our most informed players. We brought them on to replace Murphy, Maxey, and Wilson. And it's like it was a perfectly timed by Eddie Howe, and it's just great to have those options. Even messed around at the end. I think he brought Target on for Byrne, who was fucked. He was fucked, and he was getting skinned by Bowen. And then
he was happy to come off, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was happy to come off,
wasn't he?
He was. I think he gave a nod to the bench, like, thank fuck for that. My Blythe titties are fucking sweating here. Yeah, and he even brought Manquillo on, just like, hey everyone, do you remember Javier Manquillo? Yeah, he is. You know what I mean? It's just a lovely position to be in, and I'm really enjoying our football. And obviously 4 on the bounce, I'm enjoying that. I was watching it with my Ben yesterday, and I turned to him and I says, "You lucky bastard, you're getting to witness the football I witnessed as a teenager. You're getting to witness from an 8-year-old up. You're getting to see it. Probably going to be even better than the football I witnessed as a teenager under Keegan." So yeah,
I watched it with my daughter, and I remember thinking to myself before the game, I was like, oh, I hope it's not one of those nights. And, you know, she's staying up with us to watch it, and she's going to have to feel some of the heartache we felt over there. Never a chance. Never was there a chance. They don't know the bone, these kids.
I know. Got no idea. No bloody idea. But, yeah, Newcastle, another 3 points on the board. Unfortunately, Man U scraped a win at home to Brentford, who we have to play on Saturday, 3:00 away. So Eddie Howe has, as most people know, decided to stay down in London with the lads. They're going to find somewhere. I think obviously they'll have somewhere, not like a short of a few quid. They're not exactly going to go fucking rent a room in like a local YM gym. They'll have some facilities to use. Get that training down there, so they're rested. Don't have to travel back up and down the country. And yeah, we've got Brentford, second game away in a row, down in the smoke on Saturday. And I'm feeling confident. It will be a hard game. It's going
to be a hard game. I think probably out of the 3 back-to-back away games, that would probably pose the hardest challenge for him.
I don't know. Because I thought originally, it could be West Ham because they've got a good home record. I thought that it could be Brentford because Brentford are like an informed team. And then it could be Villa because of this rivalry that Villa fans have created. So that could be an atmosphere. And obviously, Unai Emery, who I thought would be a great replacement at Chelsea, but the Villa fans got really upset. Like, I'm just my genuine opinion. I think Unai Emery would love another move to a big club. So yeah, we've obviously got those coming up. So I don't know which of the two is going to be the hardest, Kevin.
I still think it'll be closely. It'll be Brentford. I don't think either one's going to be an easy game. Villa have been a bit of a mixed bag at times this season, but seem to be playing some decent football now. Kind of painful to say that.
Watkins is on fire.
Yeah, Watkins is looking really strong, and I think Emery is starting to put his sort of thumbprint on the team now, isn't he? So, yeah, well, I mean, you know, I think we're confident against whoever we play, and you know, there's going to be a week between the Brentford game and the Villa game. But yeah, the Brentford one, not only is because it's a good team, not only because it's away, it's the third of the games within 6 days. Now I know they've played a similar amount of games, and that I think him not starting Isaac might have had half an eye on Brentford, saying, you know, and I think he said in the interview before the game, oh, you know, that what a decision. He says, like, you know what, he's like, well, come on, we've got 3 games in 6 days. We've got to make some changes. So it'll be interesting to see what team he goes for, but I'm sure we'll...
And we lost Kevin there. Yeah, not to worry. His internet was playing up, it seems, and he was a bit bassy. But I think what Kevin was pretty much going to be saying was that obviously Isak was more than likely rested for the Brentford game to have some fresh legs to come on. Oh, he's back. 2 seconds. He's back. Start you back on. There you went. You back?
I'm back, yeah. Not the best
Yeah,
connection.
I finished your point for you. Don't worry. But we'll save that for the preview, which I believe we may be doing live tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Look out for the notification. What you need to do is you need to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that. Hit the like button. Very important, that one. But press the little bell icon, and then if we are going live tomorrow, you'll see it. You'll be jump in the chat and go, "Oh, look, it's that ugly one in Lush Sai, off all the pies and that. Hi," and be all like starstruck. And we might give you a little shout out on that. And yeah, write in the comments what you thought of yesterday's match, whether you think we're doing a good enough summary of how you felt we thought the team performed. Obviously, I don't think the team was at full pelt, but still managed to like thrash West Ham 5-1. So yeah, any closing thoughts, Kevin, before we wrap this up?
Just one, and that's come on.
Excellent. See you tomorrow, everyone. And press end.